It's safe to say that every man will experience what he may see as an erection failure at some time in his life. It's more common after 40 or 50 or 60 or later, but it can happen at any age. Whether it becomes a so-called sex problem often depends on how you think about it. If you or your partner says, "This happens to everyone at times, let's just do something else and see what happens," if you do that, the incident doesn't become important or a source of anxiety. You just concentrate on oral sex or something else, and the erection may or may not come back on that occasion. Clearly understanding that a man can easily satisfy a woman with no erection at all helps to prevent anxiety. For many men, what happens instead is that they begin to worry. Am I losing my ability to perform? Will I lose my erection the next time? This is humiliating. Thoughts like this set the stage for another so-called failure the next time. Erections and anxiety don't like each other. So the first step in solving this extremely common so-called sex problem is to start thinking about it as a normal variation in sexual response. Now, all women are familiar with these ebbs and flows. A woman can be very sexually aroused, even close to orgasm, but all kinds of things can get in the way. The baby cries, the phone rings, some unexpected pain happens, something she thinks about or something her partner says. Any of these things can cause her to lose her excitement very quickly. But most women have learned that their excitement comes back if they just relax and give it time. The big difference, of course, is that the women have no easily visible equivalent of a penis that was hard a minute ago and now is soft. Female changes in arousal are not so visible and obvious, so it's easier for women to stay focused on enjoying the intimacy without judgment from either herself or her partner. Now I want to talk about causes and remedies, and I want to start with a medical note. It is always possible that erections are being affected by medications or by a medical condition. A decrease in morning erections is one of the things that may suggest a physical cause. Having a doctor you trust who's comfortable discussing sexual issues with you should be everyone's goal. If you've begun taking any new medications or if you're having any new medical symptoms, a visit to your doctor is a good way to begin solving this problem. If you find that you just can't get the words out, I've written a script to help you. It's in the resource section at the end of this module. Or you can use it to write a note to your doctor, which you can send in the mail or read to him. So here's how erection problems usually start. In the absence of a medical issue, the first time a man loses his erection is often associated with alcohol, fatigue, or medication. The most common story that I hear in my office goes like this. We were on a date night and I was really looking forward to having sex at the end of it. We had some wine and then we had some more. Once we got home and into bed, we started making out. But I wasn't getting hard. She touched me and I touched myself, but it just didn't happen. I was so upset. That had never happened before. She was excited and ready to go, and that made it worse. The next morning was Saturday, and we tried again. I kept wondering and worrying if I would fail again, and I did. It was awful. Even worse than the night before. I started to get an erection, and I just lost it. My wife said it was okay, but I could tell she was disappointed too. Common story. Too much wine was probably a major factor in the first incident. If more men realized that alcohol and cigarettes are the enemies of erections, I suspect we'd have fewer drinkers and smokers. But after that first time, after what the man often thinks of as the first failure, anxiety becomes the main culprit. Worrying about it makes it happen, or rather not happen, or not last. There can be many initial causes for erection loss, but it's fair to say that worry is very often what keeps it going. And that worry is based on the false belief that no good sex is possible without an erection. The mental shift that's needed is this. It's normal for erections to vary, to come and go, and sometimes to return or not to return on that occasion. Once that change in thinking is in place, it's time to learn many sweet alternatives to traditional intercourse. Now we'll go into the action steps. Number 1, first of all, instead of rushing out to get a prescription for Viagra, talk with your partner about the whole issue before you make love again. Ask her if she's open to trying other things if your erection changes during lovemaking. Find out some alternatives she'd like, such as switching to oral sex or using a vibrator or just stroking her with your hand. Some women like to orgasm by rubbing their clitoris against their partner's pubic bone in the woman above position. Some women like many other things. Hopefully you know what those are, but if not, it's a good time to have that dialogue and find out. Second action step, consider experimenting with sex toys, both for yourself and for her. Sex toys can make a difference for men as well as women. They're well worth experimenting with. Cock rings, anal plugs, vibrators, and a variety of other toys may add spice and pleasure to your lovemaking. The third action step is feel free to touch yourself during lovemaking. If you've never done this before, discuss it with your partner. Whether you're touching yourself or being touched, be aware that you can have an orgasm without an erection. Yes, you can. Something to experiment with. The fourth action step is teaching your partner how you like your penis touched, and ask her to do this if you feel as if you're losing your erection. But if it happens anyway, switch to something else. Put your mouth in her favorite place and see how much pleasure you can provide. Or ask her to do the same. Couples who experiment in this way often find that the woman will have an orgasm easily in certain ways they didn't expect. The fifth action step is rehearsal. Rehearsal helps a lot with making something new more comfortable. Try rehearsing that scenario where the erection goes away and you don't know what to do and you try out some other possibilities. Discuss starting to make love, having the erection leave, and plan some options. Any or all of the 5 options I've just discussed can help you turn things around. Once you've had several experiences using any or all of them and being happy with the result, you're likely to worry much less about your erections, and that's likely to make them come more often and stay longer. Enjoy yourself.